Good evening and welcome to the Arundel Camera Club live stream for Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020. My name is John Milliker and I'm the club president for the 2020-2021 season. The Arundel Camera Club was founded in 1957 and exists to promote the art, science, and education of all aspects and fields of photography. Normally we meet at 7 p.m. every Wednesday evening during the school year in Severna Park, Maryland. However, with the current COVID-19 situation, we've decided to continue business as normal in a virtual space, which allows us to protect our members and guests. For more information about us, please visit www.arundelcameraclub.org. We're also on Instagram. Please be sure to give us a follow. Search for Arundel Camera Club or look for the link on our website. Before we get to tonight's topic, we have a few items to cover. And for that, our upcoming schedule with our programs coordinator for this season, Christine Milliker. Welcome, Christine.
Good evening. September 9th, we need you to send in 3 photos to programs@arundelcameraclub.org with accompanied stories to tell us what you did over the summer. Start getting those photos together now and start sending them in to me, please. Deadline is Tuesday at noon. I'll do Tuesday at noon. Send up to 3 photos, please. September 16th, join the club for a program brought to us by our very own Richard Sterlarski on Adobe Bridge. September 23rd is our digital photo contest. The theme is open. September 30th, our very own Brian Flynn will be talking about can photography help guide us through chaos and crisis. And then on October 7th, we'll be doing a photo assignment. We'll talk more about that later.
Great, Christine. Thank you. Welcome to our first official meeting of the new season of the 2020-2021 season. We have several great faces and voices here. These are most of your officers of the Arundel Camera Club, and we wanted to talk to everybody about some of the changes that we've made and some of the changes that we're hoping to implement to continue with everything that's going on, as well as bring a very quality year to all of our members. I do want to talk a little bit about programs first, and since I have you on the line, Christine, let's talk about some of the upcoming programs that you've got coming up. And I know it's been very difficult with you because you need to plan for virtual spaces, but at some point, hopefully, we're going to go from virtual to meeting in person again, right?
We're hoping for that, but through the fall, we're going to be virtual because since schools aren't in place yet. So that's what I have. I have a lot of exciting things to do this year, all virtually, through December. And then our plan is hopefully we'll see where we go in January. So I'm still working on programs for then, but we'll see what we get from where we go from here.
Perfect. I do appreciate your work on that. Like I said, I know that's difficult, but the good thing is you've got some people from outside of our normal viewing area, right?
Yes, we have at least one person who's talking to us from Colorado. Mm-hmm. Some people are our own members, and a lot of them are local, but we'll see what happens. And I'm trying to see what I can do.
And I know you've got a couple other people you've been talking to as well.
Right.
Do you have a contingency plan in case we do have someone from outside of the state set up, and maybe we do go to an in-person meeting?
My hope is that if for some reason I have someone lined up to talk to us outside, that we can record it beforehand, or we'll see what happens.
Maybe do a bonus. That's great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Michelle, can we turn it over to you and have you talk to us a little bit about field trips for this year?
Sure. Our field trips this year are, as of right now, the ones that are still left are still able to be done. For September, we have a field trip coming up here on the 19th and 20th, which is going to be the Maryland Zoo. Now, the thing with the Maryland Zoo is that you need to buy your tickets online and also reserve your time slot. They are doing timed reservations as far as tickets go for that. And then on the Friday, September 25th, we have the World War II DC flyover. That is still happening. I checked the site today. It's still on. The flyover starts at 11:30, but I suggest that everybody get down there early morning, mid-morning. That way you can get a good spot to set up if you're going to do photos. And then October, 17th, we have I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but it's the Spokot Windmill, which is in Cambridge, Maryland. It only runs twice a year. The place is open from dawn to dusk. And what I might do is since I'm in Cambridge, I might add Blackwater in for that also, since we'll be down there. November, we have the first weekend in November is the Baltimore Museum of Industry. And then December right now, don't have anything planned, but might be doing a photo walk in one of two places. I know we usually do them in November, but might do one in early December this year. So, but that's it as far as from now until the beginning of 2021. I'm kind of holding off on some things for 2021 until we see what happens with situation and things opening back up.
Perfect. Now, you mentioned the World War II DC flyover. That is, you said September 25th. That's a Friday?
That is correct. It's Friday at 11. It starts at 11:30.
Where's a good place to view that from?
I'm actually going to send out an email with the link and the flyovers of where they're actually flying over. And but usually from any of the memorials, like the Jefferson Memorial and things like that, are a good place to just set up. Pick one of the parking lots and just walk over, and that's usually the best thing.
We went a couple years ago, and we, being a Friday, we found perfect parking. Where were we? Were we at the Jefferson Memorial?
And we might have been the Jefferson. There's approximately going to be 70 different aircrafts that's going to go over the sky that day. It's going to be in different formations over the Washington Mall, and it's going to be every 2 minutes. So hopefully it'll be a great show this year, and hopefully all of the aircraft will partake in it and not miss anything this year.
Perfect. That's when we went before. It was such a great event. You also said, what was that? What was the next one in October? I'm trying to follow along with you.
October is the Spokot Windmill.
Spokot Windmill?
In Cambridge. Spocott.
Okay. Has anybody here been to that before?
I don't think anybody's been to it. Mike might have been to it. I've driven by just to look at it.
Mike, what do you recommend for gear for people to take there? Wide?
Yeah.
Okay. And also, you mentioned possibly adding Blackwater into that. Has anybody been to Blackwater lately? I know we're still a month and a half away. Nobody's been to Blackwater lately? Okay.
Michelle was the last person, I think.
Michelle. And
I
and then
think I've probably been the last one.
perfect. Well, thank you, Michelle. I do want to keep you on, Michelle. I want you to talk a little bit about the Brian Baru, which is October 22nd.
Yeah, October 22nd from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're going to have a fundraising event at Brian Baru. The nice thing that they are doing for us this year, well, during this time, is that you can either dine in or dine outside if the weather's permittable. And or this year you can order online and have curbside pickup. The curbside pickup will be done when you do it online. You can actually check the box for Arundel Camera Club for the evening, and we will get the.
I think we lost you, Michelle. I think I know what you were getting
Make
ready
a
to say
reservation
because
as a group and go sit at a table and enjoy each other's company. It's going to be first come, first serve as far as indoor and outdoor seating.
okay, Michelle, you were breaking up a little bit there, but what I think you said was you would just need to go to Brian Baru. It is a first come, first serve. So unfortunately, we can't sit as a group because of everything that's going on. But you can also take a takeout for that special menu as well, correct? We may have completely lost Michelle, but you can you can do a takeout for that special menu. I think it was $25. You can pick from several different options for the different courses, and the club gets a very generous, I believe, $10 per meal from that. And that was something that really helped us out last year. And we had a second one planned for later in the season, Actually, we had a second one planned for early this season, but we just couldn't make it happen with everything that was going on. Thank you so much, Michelle. I want to bring up. Let's talk to Jackie, since we have Jackie up. Jackie, would you like to talk to us a little bit about dues and what all our members that want to participate in our contests need to do to get into that? Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, in order to participate in a contest, you have to have your dues paid, and that means I have to have the check in hand, not in the mail. And you can either send your dues. I know that an email has gone out, and you can either send it to the P.O. box that's listed, or if you happen to know my address, you can send it directly to me. I am not going to repeat it right here. And there is also a form, I believe it is online, that you can fill out that will give us your information. Filling out the form does not negate the fact you must send the check, and I have to have it before you can compete.
That sounds good.
Other than that, I think for competition, that's basically what they have to have. And that means that our first competition is the 23rd, so you have until the 23rd to get checks to me.
Get them in now, and we will talk about Mike. Mike did an amazing job of getting our membership form online. Just fill that out and follow that up with the check. The address for sending your checks in came through our email. If you are not on our email list, make sure to reach out to someone on the Facebook group, and we'll get you set up. Speaking of the website, let's talk a little bit to Mike. And David is he does not have a microphone going on right now because he's got some noise going on at his house. But Mike, tell us about what's going on with the website.
Yeah, can I'm going to share my screen if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. There we go.
While you're doing that, Mary Lou, we're keeping the dues at the same price as last year, which is $35 per individual. And for every additional family member in your household, $15. And everyone needs to fill out the membership form on the website for each person that is going to be on that.
All right. Is it up? You have it?
There we go. We have you up, Mike.
All right, so here's the website. It's a blog, so over here we get different articles about upcoming events and accomplishments and things like that. Newsletter publications, that kind of stuff's all over here. You can just click on them. Like this, the most recent one for the newsletter, the upcoming Odyssey of Light for MPA, things like that. We're keeping all of this stuff up to date with the changes for COVID. If you click on membership on our homepage, that gets you over to a form, and you fill out this form and you click submit, and that will send an email to Jackie and some of the rest of us that need the information. And then it'll give you instructions on where to send the check with the printout of your membership form. So that's all automated there. Maybe someday we can automate the payment, but not right now. We've got a calendar that's up to date on the website. So if you want to know what's coming on, you can look on the website, get a calendar. The current newsletter and all the past newsletters are all linked over here. So you can come over to newsletters and get to them. You can bring up newsletters, and almost always in the newsletter we'll have the calendar. So that's always available to you. Let's go back. There's information on competitions and things like that. Here's something new this year. So if you come over here to social media, you can click on this to get to our Facebook page. You can click on this to get to our YouTube page. And you can click on this to get to our Instagram. We're experimenting with Instagram. David Joyner's doing the work. But looking at publishing some of our winning images to Instagram to advertise the club. It's currently an experiment. We're trying to see how valuable that'll be to the club. Featured photographers. So if you click on that, a few years ago, we did a number of interviews for club members. And all of those interviews, the content for that is listed over here on the side. So our current members, some inactive members, some of our members that are no longer with us. So you can go click on those and read about them and the date they were updated. I updated mine for this last newsletter we put out this for August. My intent here is that we'll start doing these again and put them in the monthly newsletter. I want to do the officers. Most of the officers, except for John, haven't been featured, so we know more about the officers, and then go through some of the other club members, especially some of the club members that are unlimited members, things like that. So if you'd like to be featured, what I'm going to start doing is queuing up these interviews for month after month and publishing them. But I think it's nice to have a little history. You know, if you come over here to Chips, you can see there's an interview with Chip down here, as well as you can go through and look at a few of his pictures. I think this is great for the history of the club, just, you know, to kind of creating a lasting legacy. At John's request, we added a page here for our exhibits. So you can go over here and see photos from our exhibit at the Woods Church last year and some of the wonderful comments people made about the exhibit. We've got a link section here with all kinds of helpful links to things about photography. But at the top of it, we're going to fill that with links to club members' websites. And that's one of the things we're collecting in the membership application is anyone that has a website, we'll add that to this list. So you can go and look at other club members' work. Yeah, so that's the major changes. David Joyner, I've been working with him so that he can help me with the website. And I know y'all don't see Russ Zakari very much, but he helps with the website and he does all the database work for us. That's all I have, John.
Great. It's amazing. You know, you've done an amazing job with taking the website and making it so dynamic. I'm going to see if we can get. Do we have Elaine? I'm going to see if we can get Elaine up here, because as you're talking about, you know what? Elaine does not have a microphone or a camera up, but she is joining us. You talked about the news. You talked about the membership on the website, and that is very important. And some people may ask, why do you need to know my skill level? Why do you need to know what I like to shoot? And Elaine, I think we got Elaine up here now. Let me bring her up. Hey, Elaine, welcome.
Hey.
Do you want to talk about the secret project that's not so secret about new members?
The secret project? You mean, which one do you mean?
Elaine has been helping, as well as Terry has been helping with getting kind of a welcoming committee kind of up. Exactly. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? We are not completely. It's kind of been a weird summer, so we have not completely concreted something, but Elaine and Terry and every one of the officers and of course several of the members have come up with some great information, because a lot of people when they first join the club they may have felt a little bit lost. So what are we trying to do to make sure that doesn't happen?
Terry
Elaine?
and I've just been brainstorming back and forth as to what we can do and how we can approach people to get them interested and keep them interested, and we can remain active in communication with them. And so really that's the stage that we're at right now. So I have to get back with her. We have to work on that so that we can get something to maybe put out on the website or on the Facebook page.
Okay. And why, Elaine, is it important that all of our existing and new members fill out kind of their interests?
That's very important, because that gives people a starting off point for a conversation and getting to know the new photographers in the club.
Great.
Because you have an opening point where you can talk about interests with each other.
I like it. That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's very well put together. Thank you so much, Elaine. Okay, let's move over to Mike, David, Michelle, and Bob. I have to make sure I have everybody up. Michelle, do we have Michelle back? I'm gonna let's see what we can do here. Michelle, do we still have you?
Yes, I'm here. I just don't have
Okay. Do you guys want to
camera.
talk a little bit about the newsletter and how you guys are working with that?
So I've been working on the newsletter for a few years and um, trying to bring in some reinforcements. So we've got a team now with Michelle, David, and Bob going to help out. So we're looking at moving it from Adobe InDesign to something else that everyone can get to and use, maybe Google Sheets or Google Docs or something, Google Pages, I forget. So we're experimenting with that, and then looking for more uh, help in generating content and stuff for the monthly newsletters. Bob did a lot of experimenting this week with alternatives to using Adobe's InDesign.
Bob, can you tell us a little bit about what you've been working on?
Yes, I took Mike's August newsletter and attempted to get it into Google Docs by a somewhat tortuous process, and largely succeeded and learned a lot about Google Docs and presentation type things. I'm interested to hear what the rest of the team think, but from my point of view, it looks like Google Docs could be a collaborative platform for working on this.
That's great. What would you guys like to tell members? What would you like members to submit? Obviously, field trips. Obviously, your winning images. What else can members submit?
I think it would be fun if members could say describe a particular photograph and the technique they use to do it. Particularly if it's something like a still life with unusual lighting or some of the things like that.
Okay.
So that other members could learn some of their magic.
How about any members that I've always said we have such amazingly talented members. How about members that may be able to write an article or write something kind of small for the newsletter, because everybody can teach somebody everything. Everybody can teach everybody something.
Yeah, no, I think that kind of stuff would be good. We'd even discussed adding to the website a tutorials section for videos and written tutorials. But I think something in the newsletter, that's 1 or 2 pages, 3 pages max kind of thing that describes how to do something would be great.
Your name and lights. If you have anything you can, and the good thing is a lot of people don't understand what they may be good at, but they may have submitted something to a contest or to the Facebook group, and people want to see more about what your thought process was, what your workflows like, what your people want to learn about that stuff, and you would only help out by making the newsletter that much more valuable to our club members.
Over in chat, Kathy Hockle is asking, thanks, Bob. Are there any mirror images attempted? I'm not sure what she's referring to, but
I'm not really sure about that. Hopefully she can elaborate on that. And speaking of chat, if anyone has any questions or comments, we're going to get on to we're going to continue moving down the list, and at almost the very end, we're going to talk about some very exciting changes that you would have seen come through in your email. If you have any questions or comments about that, please bring them in the chat, and we'll bring you guys we'll bring those in. Bob, we can talk about. Bob says, how about a Zoom peer-to-peer review at some point? We could get the Zoom account for longer than 40-minute free session. The problem with that, Bob, is that not only is a pay kind of thing, but we do have at least one person in the club that at the last check they couldn't use it. But that's something that we can definitely talk about, and if we can make StreamYard happen for that, I'd be happy to walk you through my entire process like I did with Mike and the OBS software. But that sounds like a very good recommendation there. While we're on about the same people, can we still get? I think we lost Michelle again. Michelle's having some definite issues with her internet. Michelle, I brought you back in because I'd like you and Mike to maybe discuss a little bit about the Facebook group.
I'm here, but Mike didn't.
All right. So we've always kind of had a Facebook group off to the side just to kind of supplement, support the club, but it's never been a main feature. Um, Always voluntary to join it, of course, and but it turned out it was one of the better options for streaming our meetings. So you can go see all our old meetings where we streamed them since COVID started. They're all on Facebook. If you don't want to go to Facebook, we've been also trying to put most of them on YouTube, so you can still see them there. We did put in some rules recently on Facebook. They're pretty common sense. Be polite. Don't be rude. This photography. Don't talk politics or religion, or especially politics right now. And so Michelle, John, and I can approve new members, and um, while it's primarily here to support the in-person meeting, if people are actively participating and want to join right now, and we'll let them do that. We are watching. We had one person try and join and immediately start trying to sell stuff. And while we don't mind members selling photography related stuff, if you're not a paid member and you're selling workshops, we'd kind of like you to kick in some money into the kitty or something if you're just here to just joining the group to sell stuff. But if you want to sell a camera or an old thing like that, that's no problem to share your used equipment and stuff on the group. And it's a good place to post images, a good place to discuss images. But we're trying, again, we're using it heavily right now because of COVID.
Yeah. Do we have any metrics on how big the Facebook group has grown since March of this year?
Oh, sure. Ask me that right now.
I'm sorry. I know the Facebook group has grown by leaps and bounds, and it's all thanks to the people that to the officers here, and it's thanks obviously to our members as well, because they've really eaten up the opportunity to share more of their work, to get more feedback, and we've had more interaction with our members, not just groups of members, the entire membership. We've had so much more feedback between them and interaction that I think it's such a great thing.
So our membership has grown to, it's 178 people have joined our Facebook group. And I know a lot of those are some of our friends from other camera clubs who are desperate for entertainment this summer. Because we've shared this with Bowie Crofton and the MPA, things like that. But yeah, so considering it used to be mostly 20 to 30 people, and now there's 178 people have joined in, it's definitely kind of a sign of the times right now.
Jackie brings up a good point. These are not all paid members. Would you like to speak a little bit on that, Jackie? But that's a good thing that we have. We only.
Really.
Go ahead.
We really don't have a way to distinguish between them in our vocabulary. Just we call everybody who joins Facebook, or everybody who comes to a meeting, a member, or everybody that's on our email a member. But yeah, they're not all paid members. So, and I don't have the number for paid members yet because I haven't started tallying the few checks that I have gotten.
And that's a good.
Do you know how many we had last year for a benchmark, Jackie?
Off the top of my head, I think it might have been 43, give or take.
I think that's right.
I
think that's what I had in my notes.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to make sure we remember, because we don't make people be paid members in order to participate in the contests or coming up with, as we'll hear next, with photo assignments. But it's more important than ever that if you enjoy the club and you enjoy the feedback that you get from submitting your photos and getting great feedback from them, we could definitely use your membership more than ever. So I hope you either consider joining us, or if you were a member last year, consider rejoining us. We're going to talk with Michelle next if we have her back, because one of the two great new things that we're going to have coming up this year is, let's bring Michelle. Michelle, are you there? Can you talk to us about the photo assignments, and then also kind of work in what paid members get versus what all submissions get?
Sure. So
the first of each month, I did not send it out yesterday. I was waiting till we had our meeting tonight before I send it out. But on the first of every month, I'm going to still send out an email regarding a photo assignment. The photo assignment for September is your favorite drink. And so you're going to have a month to go through and photograph 3 of your favorite drinks. And you will submit that to programs at arundelcameraclub.org. And what's going to happen is they will get submitted the last Wednesday of the month is the deadline, because the first Wednesday of the month is going to be the discussion of the photo assignment and showing photos and going from there. But what's going to happen during that week, that the week prior that you submit it, they're going to go into a gallery on Facebook, and people are going to go through the gallery, look through them, and they're going to hit like. And whoever ends up with the most likes at the end of the week will get a certificate for the best photo or whatever for that photo assignment. So it's going to be judged by your peers and things like that.
Perfect.
And it's best, the certificate goes to the most popular paid member photo.
Correct. Yeah, that is only for paid members as far as the certificate goes.
Now, everybody can submit. Is that correct?
That is correct. Everybody, non-members and paid members, can submit for the photo talk, which is, like I said, that's held the first Wednesday of the month. But if you want to partake in getting the certificate for the photo assignment, that is only for paid members.
Excellent. So you definitely get the same great feedback as we do the photo assignments, which now will be the are we doing, Christine, is it the first weekend? Excuse me, is it the first meeting of the month typically?
Yes, it is replacing our typical print contest time. So it's the first week of each month when we're going to be discussing and going over each photo assignment. But the week prior is when we're going to have them do, so that we can do the voting for them. Okay. And Elaine wants to point out, and Terry also, that joining us as dues paying members is good because it gives us more opportunities to offer more programs and workshops to the group.
Absolutely. It helps give all the officers a little bit more wiggle room to make the club that much better for everybody. So it's a good thing. Speaking of these photo assignments, and you brought up the Lewis, I'm gonna bring you up here because you brought up the fact that it's replacing the print contests. Now we can't do print contests at least in the fall, and that's for obvious reasons, to keep everybody safe and everything that's going on. But Lewis, do you want to talk a little bit about now photo assignments with that certificate kind of aesthetic going on? That is replacing a little bit of what we're losing with the print assignments. Lewis, do you want to talk about the exciting new changes to the digital contest?
Yes, all of the information I'm giving you is really on the website, so I'll just hit some of the highlights. First of all of the contests have judges booked for the contest. So the only contests that I need judges for are 2 for the end of year. So it's a little bit early to get those, but everything is set as far as judges go for the entire year. Now, most of the information on contest really is on the website, but I'm just going to do some highlights. The change in the contest structure to replace really, to include be more inclusive for more people to have a little more pictures entered. And digital, we're going to have 4 different contests. We're going to have color for unlimited, and color for novice, color black and white for novice, and black and white for unlimited. And there is a little bit of a change as far as the labeling of the images. They will be, the deadline right now is going to be the Tuesday before the contest. If that becomes an issue, then I'll have to push it back, but probably that will work once I get everything all organized and send it over down to John. But the important thing is that in the description of your image is to include, and this is on the website, the indication that it's for a color or for monochrome. That's important. It's going to be helpful to sort things out and organize everything. As far as points accumulation goes, there's a slight difference, and it's explained on the website again. It has to do with the monochrome primarily. So hopefully this is all going to be temporary, and hopefully we might get something going, at least going into the spring, as far as actual prints contests go. Since myself, I ordered a little bit of ink for my printer, but I don't think I'm going to be using that much ink in the next few months. So I think overall, that those highlights help everything out, and all the information really is right on the website. So if there's any questions, you can always send an email to me, contest at Arundel Camera Club. And I think that covers almost anything. Of course, I'll be here to answer any questions later if we really need to. But it's pretty explained. It's all explained pretty clearly on the website.
So basically, Lewis, what we're doing is we're kind of splitting the digital color contest. It never was a digital color contest. We're kind of splitting that up where people could submit color or monochrome. We're now making a specific digital color contest and a specific digital monochrome contest. Is that correct?
That's exactly it.
That's great because
you explained it very clearly.
That's great because we have so many great monochrome photographers that I've just missed their prints this year. And I'm very, very excited to be able to see some good monochrome work as well. Now,
yeah,
Lewis, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now, Lewis.
Anyway, I think that we have a lot of interesting monochrome stuff out there. Really, I think it's probably since we've gone to digital and everything, everybody's been kind of emphasizing color, but black and white monochrome has a really wide range of created opportunities, really.
Now, Lewis, I wanted you to explain to anybody who may be new watching the stream, what exactly does monochrome mean?
Monochrome means that there's one color superimposed on the black and white. So, in other words, it could be a black and white, no, just black and white, but I think probably maybe a colored tone would better describe. So you need one colored tone to make it monochrome. But just plain black and white is fine. But if you put in a color, that's it. But it's only going to be one color.
Okay, so black and white and one color is okay. I know a certain programs chair that likes blue. I know we have a lot of great photographers that work in sepia or work in selenium. So as long as it's monochrome, one color, you're good to go.
Right. It also does not have to be black and white. It can be just plain white and then another color to emphasize or make being created in the image.
Perfect. Elaine brings up a great point that actually we had a monochrome print last year, which was just shades of green. Fantastic.
Right. Yeah. The monochrome basically means that actually what it is, what it really boils down to, actually, the colors are, of course, black is a combination of is its own color, but or the lack of color, but actually. Basically a red or a green or a blue, just those tones are as the other part of the monochrome. In other words, white in a color really is what it really is.
Perfect. That's great. That's very exciting. Now, in order to keep, we're still doing all these contests on one night with one judge. In order to keep us from going until maybe 11 o'clock, because I'm not the kind of person, I will never tell a judge to hurry up, because I think that's the most important aspect of being a photographer is getting that feedback. So did we limited the amount of entries, didn't we?
Right. Yeah, I forgot to point that out. Yes, just 2 entries per category. So, in other words, if you are an unlimited color, just two 2 images for that particular category. And if you're if you're a novice monochrome, just 2 images for that category. So your total is really 4 images, and that cuts down a little bit on the time and the length of the contest.
Okay. Now, for everybody that's submitting to this monochrome contest, does everybody need to start at novice, or can we use our ranking at the normal digital level?
I think I clarified that with Mike, I think earlier today. And I think we are generally, I don't know, actually, can Mike pop in and clarify that slightly?
Sure. So since we're going to have a color digital and a monochrome digital, you're just going to transfer over at whatever current level you are. So if you're novice in digital, you will compete at novice color digital and novice monochrome digital. If you're unlimited in digital, you will compete at unlimited color digital and unlimited monochrome digital.
Perfect.
Yeah, that explains it a little better than I did, I think.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen. Now, Mike, while we have you, do you want to talk a little bit about how are points and ribbons and awards going to happen for this new temporary category?
Yeah, so again, we're in hopes that we'll be able to have salvage some of the print contests later in the year, club year, but we don't know. But you will continue to accumulate points for these 2 contests. The color digital points will count towards your normal digital advancement in the club. The monochrome points are just going to be good for this year for this temporary competition. So at the end of the year, we're still going to give plaques and ribbons for the 1st through 4th, and honorable mentions for both monochrome and for the color digital. We'll have a plaque for the best monochrome digital and a plaque for the best color digital photographer, and then we'll still have our best photographer of the year, and we'll still have which will be selected from whoever scores the most points and for unlimited or novice, and then we'll have the photo of the year, which will be selected from the 4 first place images. Now it might get a lot more complex if we get to kick in the print contest in the spring. But that's our current intent so that we still have awards, still have an award ceremony, things like that.
And I've got the confidence that if that happens, I'm sure everybody will figure that out without too much of a problem. We do have a question about the sizing and naming conventions for the new contest. Lewis, what is it's 1024 pixels on the longest side, and you want to make sure
1024 pixels on the long side. And again, in the descriptions, you need to this is on the website, indicate whether it's color or monochrome, the image.
Okay. I know I believe it's in the newsletter, but I just went to the website, and that's something we're going to need to, we're just going to need to add a little bit there. So if you're looking on the website, all that information is the same, except for in your naming convention, you need to designate color or monochrome, and make sure to read the newsletter, and I'll work with Mike and make sure we can get some kind of a quick information on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was mistaken. It is
No
in
problem.
the newsletter, not in the website.
No problem. Great. Does anybody in the chat have any questions about how that's going to happen? I hope everyone is happy with that. We're putting the power back into submitting images and getting feedback, because that's what ultimately makes us a much better photographer. So if you have any questions or comments on that, please bring them out into the chat, and we'll bring them up. And while we're talking about that, can we, how about Ron? Let's see if Ron is available. Ron, of course, is the representative for our club to the Maryland Photo Alliance. Ron, what is the MPA doing for all of its clubs to help them with the coming uncertainties?
Okay, well, we've got quite a list of things we've been working on. One of the most important one coming up on us will be the Odyssey of Light. And those of you who participated in the past, that was a spring, I think usually in the March or April. We did that at the College of Notre Dame, I think in Baltimore. Now, we tried to reschedule it at UMBC for October, and of course, they're not doing anything on campus. So That's now flipped over. All of the people who had participated in, I'm sorry, who had registered for that on face-to-face Odyssey of Light should have been contacted by now about getting a refund. If you haven't been contacted, let me know. So what the deal is now is we were able to get pretty much the same 4 speakers that we initially had booked for the face-to-face Odyssey of Light. And well, I had hang on one second so I can get all my info up in front of me. We have 4 speakers, and of course, hang on, I'll try one more time. Okay, we've got 4 speakers for the Odyssey of Light, and on Saturday, October 17th, one will be Eileen Rafferty, who will be doing a program on black and white at 9 a.m. And again, this is be like a webinar format. And on Saturday at 10:30, we'll have Stephen Johnson capturing the beauty of the real world. Some of you may know, particularly Stephen, I think has been has presented. These are all nationally known people. We also have Christy Odom on Sunday at 9 o'clock on wildlife photography. She has some pretty amazing stuff. And you also, many of you follow Ian Plant. And Ian is going to be presenting at 10:30 on Sunday. So the deal is, if you're a member of an MPA club, as we are, you can use the registration code, which I'm not going to do on the broadcast here. I sent it to you in mail. If you don't have it, let me know, and I'll give you our registration our registration code. And anyway, if you use the registration code, it's $29. If you don't use a registration code and you're from a non-MPA club, it's $49. But as in the past, we've had sponsorship from Nations Photo, and they're going to give about a $30 gift card. So if you have a $29 registration fee and you get a $30 gift card for Nations Photo, you end up being paid $1 to come to the presentation and go do your photograph, such as it is. So that's coming up. If you have any trouble registering or something, let me know. That's number 1. Number 2, I've gotten word out, or at least attempted to get word out to people. I've been contacted by Kathy Hockle. I've talked to Mike. I've talked to Brian, and I've also talked to Fred. I have your pictures from the 2019 photo show contest that was hung at the General Assembly, and we finally got in there and got that out a couple of weeks ago. So I have those images at my house for anybody in the club who hung there, and I'll contact you again if I don't hear from you. So we'll make sure we get them back. There will not be at this point a gallery show for the 2020 photo contest for MPA. So that's one that you submitted this summer. We've had a number of winners in the club, and we ought to talk about those at some point. That's some really nice work. Now, over the summer, we started up a webinar series called Artist Spotlight. And the most recent of those was yesterday at 4 o'clock. We had John Isaacs, who is a United Nations photographer for about 40 years. Had some amazing images and pictures. That will be up on YouTube sometime soon, and I'll tell you where you can go get the link on that if you haven't seen it. So that was a free one. Now, all those webinars, we didn't charge any money for it, but people were donating. We've got $15,000 through donations from the webinars over the summer. It's been a really good, successful thing, and those donations went to the Maryland Food Bank. The Odyssey of Light is different in that we need to have some operational money for MPA. So we are charging the $29. That will be coming to MPA. And in the past, we've tried to give some money back to the clubs. We're going to see if we're in a position to do that this year. And by the way, on the webinars, on an upcoming webinar, we're going to have we're not going to do them for a few weeks. There may be one between now and Odyssey of Light, but there might be a little less frequently during the winter. But our concern was the people who just didn't have any opportunity to go to clubs and go out and shoot, just wanted to kind of keep the flame burning through the summer and into the next year. It's not meant to compete with us, and it's also set up so that you can basically go in to YouTube and look at any of those anytime. And by the way, if you're going to be busy on the 17th or the 18th, you can't go to the Odyssey of Light. I can't watch it at home. You're going to get with that $29 a 30-day license, if you want to call it that, to pass to go watch it online at any time. So you have all four of those you can pick up at a later time. They should be quite good. We got a Facebook group, as many of you know. You've already signed up for it. Mike helped to make sure we get a lot of people signed up for it. Mike is our moderator for the MPA Facebook group, and we have 619 members, I think, right now. So the idea was to try to provide a linkage among we now have 23 clubs too, by the way. So you want to try to provide a linkage among all those so you can know what's happening at other clubs and go kind of pick up some of their programs. Baltimore Camera Club is posting some of their webinars and so on the Facebook group. Mike has been putting up some of ours as well. So I think we should continue doing that if we have webinars type meetings that we want to have participation, but let's not put anything up just on, in my opinion, if it's basically for the family, it's for us. It's not, we don't really want anybody out. We don't want to put it on the MPA Facebook group, but you know, we can do whatever we want with ours. So I apologize for taking so much time. There's been a lot going on. I'm meeting at a judging committee, judge training committee tomorrow. We're working on a plan to try to make sure that the 21 people who, half of whom are certified and half of whom are graduates. One of those, by the way, is our own David Joyner. I've graduated from this 2 years ago. David hasn't had a chance to get out and judge a whole lot, but we want to try to make sure that everybody who went through that series at least gets some refresher, some update, and so on. So we're meeting on, so David, you'll be hearing about that soon, but anybody in the judging program, we want to try to keep you moving until we get back around to doing some judging. But I have done some judging online using that. We also have done some critiques for clubs, and all that's been really quite good. So we're going to try to keep our skills up for when we get back to face-to-face meetings again. Wanted you to know that some of you have used to belong to Creative Exposures Baltimore, which is now disbanded, but it's now revived itself as Charm City Photo Club. They're doing some contest, some reviews, and some walk-arounds, photos things. So it's a not what do you call it, a meetup type group. So it's fairly easy to sign up for, and it might be a nice opportunity. I think I'm looking over my list, and I think I have pretty much everything going. Now, the only thing I might suggest is I'm really active with the group. I'm on the board. I'm on the executive council, and I'm on many of these committees. We're trying to make sure that we can properly support all of the clubs. We don't want to provide competition between clubs for activities, but we want everybody to be able to kind of access services and so on to just try again keep the flame burning through the through COVID-19 and into the next year and so on. If any of us have any ideas what we need to be doing or what we could be doing, just let us know. You know, send an email my way, give me a call, and we can talk about it. We want to be there. Steve Sattler's president. He's very open to it. And I'm proud of the fact that as a club, we've been with that group from the very beginning, and we've been able to, as a club, to make some really good contributions to it. So that's good. And last thing to remind you, if you want to post something on the MPA Facebook group, Mike is a moderator. There's a mechanism in there to write up a post. I'm an administrator for the group. Either he or I can go ahead and approve it and pop it up there. And as soon as I see them myself, I move them right up, and I know Mike does too. So that's sort of all there is to it, I guess, at this point.
Great, thank you, Ron. Do you have any information on other MPA clubs? Are they doing things? How are they handling everything going on? Are they doing well?
It's a real mix because I know, for example, Rossmore Club in the Washington suburbs is continuing to do face-to-face contests. I don't know how they're doing it.
Wow.
But I know that Bowie Crofton is back up and running. They'll be running Zoom. I do know the Baltimore Camera Club is running pretty much Zoom. I'll have my first meeting with the board next Tuesday, and I can kind of get a flavor for what's going on. But we were one of about half of them, I think, had some kind of thing going, at least sporadically, through the summer, as we did. But to my knowledge, most of the clubs have not shut down. They're trying to do some things.
Good.
I do know that Carroll County Camera Club was able to find a space and put up a show recently. So, we have things like that we're able to kind of tap into. And as I get more information to the next time we meet, I'll let you know what I know at that point.
Perfect. Now, Ron, is the Charm City Camera Club, are they still MPA members?
Yes, they basically took over as one group disbanded. It's the same group of organizers, including Bruce Katzenberg, I think is his name, and a couple of folks that you already know. Steve Bruza is involved with them, who's judged with us. Mary Brayman, I believe. So they're the same group of organizers, but they just reformatted the club in a way that would be more productive. And typically, their meetings are smaller. And I think formerly, Mike, you said you went to one of their clubs meetings, and I think they had about 100 people in a room up at the Museum of Industry.
Yeah, I've attended a couple of their meetings when they started, and Chip and I have judged there, and I've done a presentation there.
Yeah.
But it's much smaller now.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for that information, Ron. Do we have any other of our officers that have any updates or anything they want to talk about? If you are not on the main screen, just bounce me a message over in private chat. Do we have any members, anybody watching the live stream with any comments or questions for any of these amazing people on the screen right now? We're going to give that a little bit of time to work. I really want to thank all of our officers. The amount of work they've done throughout the summer has just been amazing. Getting us online in a tough time when we didn't know what was going to happen, and we still don't know what's going to happen or when we can finally see each other face to face. But these people really deserve your thanks, and next time you get a chance to, make sure to thank them. Thank everyone for all the hard work they've done. We also want to thank our members for sticking with us, because this has been such a great club. Everyone has really come out of their shells basically, and really submitted so much great stuff to the Facebook group, comments, constructive criticism, really encouraging everybody on the Facebook group. And honestly, I don't know how everybody else feels, but I've said it in email. I am excited. I am very, very excited that I think that even with the craziness that's going on, I think this is going to be the best camera club year ever. Anybody else? Any thoughts on that? I see some head shaking. I'll take it. I don't see anything else that we can talk about. So, if we have everything done, Christine, are we ready to close the meeting up?
We are.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you for everybody for sticking with us. Next week we have our what you did over the summer. It might not have been much, but what you did over the summer. Make sure you get them into programs at arundelcameraclub.org by Tuesday at
noon.
Tuesday at noon, and that way Christine can get all that stuff together. And after that, what's the next line of stuff coming up. Richard Stolarski on the 16th with Adobe Bridge.
Yes, we have what I did over the summer next week. Then we have Richard Stolarski on talking about Bridge, Adobe Bridge. And then we have the contest on the 23rd. And then Brian Flynn is talking to us on the 30th. So that's
Perfect.
our September.
Make sure you get those memberships in. If you have any questions on how to set your digital images to send into the contest, reach out to anybody on the Facebook page. And we hope to see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Like